First of all, there was like in the early days, we had a lot of failures, we had a lot of downtimes. So it's from the learnings we draw from the past periods, we have built a system in such a way that it is scalable enough and we can scale it down when we know. And it is constantly getting challenged by the QA team, right? And the same drawing has been done on the data side also. What we have done is we have come up with a system so robust enough that it can manage spikes, and it can also ensure that the data are injected properly and managed properly. When the last data was published, I still remember, by our CTO, Arzumi, in the last 6 months, we haven't faced any downtime. And even during the periods of 10-10, 11-11, 12-12, we actually, I would say, thanks to the tech team, we haven't faced any downtime. Well, there's like no perfect systems, right? Amazon Kinesis is a great tool. It's a robust streaming tool. But at the same time, the reason why we went with Amazon Apache Kafka was because we wanted to come up with a lot of this own orchestration, own tuning, or you can actually say we want to have a flexibility of writing our own models, right? Own transformation. And that is one of the reasons we actually leverage on Apache Kafka rather than AWS Kinesis. But let me tell you that it's not that AWS Kinesis or Amazon Kinesis is a bad system. If you want to stick around with the same ecosystem of Amazon, it is actually great. But if you want to have a lot of these open source projects where you can drive your flexibility, you can configure your own servers, you can scale it, you can scale down, that's where Apache Kafka comes into the picture. Well, in Fave, we are running Apache Kafka on Kubernetes, by the way. But there are a lot of these tethering issues, especially when you deal with Apache Kafka and Kubernetes. Let me draw an example there, right? So we all know Kubernetes is able to scale all the stateless microservices, right? So it's easy when there's a failover of the pod, it can recover automatically, you can scale your application. That's one of the advantages of Kubernetes. Coming to Kafka, we all know Kafka is a great streaming system, but at the same time, it is a challenge. It's a challenge for the DevOps to configure Kafka. So what we want to do is we want to leverage Kubernetes on Kafka, right? So what we did is we actually used something known as Rancher Kubernetes engine, right? It's a lightweight Kubernetes engine which allows us to run Kafka on it. You can scale up and scale down with just a click of a button. And to be honest, I can just open up my cell phone right now and I can scale up my clusters, I can scale down my clusters, and that's the advantages of Rancher Kubernetes, right? And the reason we want to be very, very careful about this is, imagine if the Kubernetes with Kafka, if the cluster fails, right? The Kafka cluster carries the data. The data is also lost. So you need to take care of your data, which is exactly the reason we use Rancher. I'm not saying please go ahead and use Rancher, but there are a lot of open source solutions available in the market. You can try to leverage those. But be careful when you're running Kafka on Kubernetes.